Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hope Shot. Man, it's gonna be a good night. We got Haley on to share her story. Hope you guys are excited about this one. I'm gonna read the clarity statement. If you guys are just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. Um, Give me 1 second. Oh, there we go. All right. So, the Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our family. All right, let's see. Let me read some comments. We got let's see where we at. All right, we got Rachel in the house. What's up, Rachel? Happy Sunday to you too. We got Jody. Good to see you, Jody. We got Cheyenne, best friend, tuned in. That's right, on deck. We got Jamie in the house. Hey. We got Lindsay, best sponsor ever. We got Dustin. What's up, Hope Shot fam? I'm so freaking pumped for this one. Love you, Haley. And we got Rudolph in the comments. What's up, guys? Good to see y'all. We got Mary. Good to see you. Crystal, all the way from Dallas, Texas. Hope you had a safe flight and wherever else you're going. I don't know if your your training's there, but good luck. And we got Allie. What's up, Allie? Kelly. Good to see you, Kelly. We got Megan, first time on here. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. This is gonna be a great story tonight, so I'm glad you're here. We got Roy in the other room and in the comments. Amy, good to see you. We got Lynn. Hello to you. We got Gina. What's up, Gina? And we got Tiffany. Hey, fam. We got Alejandro. Wait, how do you say that? Alejandro? Is that how you say that? I think so. Yes. I see Haley's head going like this in the backstage. Let's see. We got Tiffany in the other room as well. So excited for tonight. We got Michael. What's up? First time too. I'm glad you're here, man. Welcome. We got Haley sharing her story tonight, and we got Amy in North Carolina. We got Don, man. What's up with you, buddy? Good to see you, man. And we got Angie. What's up to you? All right, so let's bring in Haley. I'm just gonna do a brief tutorial on her real quick. Haley is just one of those people, man, that just she just brightens up this area that we're in, with recovery. She's a very strong female, helping out a bunch of women in our area, which we need strong individuals to put that hand back out, and to help other people back up. And that's exactly what she does. She's full of service, full of just light and love. So I'm going to bring her in. Haley.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. All right. Well, I'm just going to get to it. So go ahead and share your story, and that's it.
Thank you. Hey, y'all, I'm Haley. Grateful to be here. Grateful to have an opportunity to share my experience, strength, and hope here in the recovery world. Reach plenty of people that love me, that are on here watching me. Thank you guys. I appreciate it for your support and love. And those of you that I don't know, I hope that something I say, gets to you, or that I can just help in whatever way, plant a seed, or possibly lead you in the right direction. So I had a pretty good childhood growing up. My parents were together most of my life. It wasn't until like my addiction took off that they actually separated. So I looked at that as I had a lot of friends whose parents weren't together. So, to me, like, that was something that was like I was really proud of and grateful to have. Did a lot of fun things together, and it's just me and my sister, and we had a great life. My parents started running a business, a bar business, whenever I was pretty young, and alcohol was always in their life. But just like my disease did, and all addiction does, it progressed for them. And by the time I was a young teenager, my parents were like the biggest dealers in my area, and my friends would come to me and say stuff, and it became like a resentment that I had towards them. Like I was never going to live the way that they were living. I was never going to do what they were doing. I remember the first time I ever seen my dad like really high, like nodding off and just not knowing what was wrong with him. I was probably 14. He was in the office in the bar, and like just that feeling today, like thinking about it, like just being like, what is wrong with him, and having no idea. And then, I learned later on what I was seeing, from experiencing it myself, So when my parents addiction took over for them and progressed, then I basically started doing anything that I wanted. When I was in high school, I started experimenting myself with bunch of other drugs. I didn't go the route they did. I wouldn't do the specific drugs that they were doing because I was better than them. I could handle what I was doing. I was just having fun and I was a kid. But my choices got me in some really dangerous situations, and I seemed to always get away with things. So it was like a ego booster, like, I can get away with whatever, my looks, being a female, all that stuff. I like I said, I thought was me getting away with some shit, but really it was just leading me farther into, a path that unfortunately I had to take. Uh, so I moved out very young. I moved out when I was 18, the day I turned 18. I know me and my mom got in a huge argument over it, and like I said, from there, my disease just progressed. It started out with just bartending and, drinking here and there. And this thing that I said I wouldn't do, I would never do, I ended up trying. And then that I would never do, and then I ended up trying. And I lost so many friends throughout that process, like people that I was so close with that just they could stop. Like they stopped doing the things, and I just couldn't stop doing the things. And they just didn't understand why I would throw away my life and why I just wouldn't stop. And I couldn't understand why they didn't see it the way I did. So, that's so I remember I met my kid's dad, and that's when I first tried like the drug that really brought me down. It was the drug that my parents used, the drug I would never do. Uh, and it was like from the first time I ever used, it was like I found the answer. I didn't really felt like I get along. I was very insecure. People would make fun of my freckles. People would make fun of my last name. Like, I grew up like feeling like I was never good enough. And so each drug that I tried, I felt something new open up in me. And when I tried this drug, it was like I found all the answers, or so I thought. And, I ended up getting pregnant, and I had a beautiful son. When I found out I was pregnant, I was able to stop, which, I'm grateful for. I don't have the same story when it comes to my daughter, my second child. That's something I have some guilt about. But my daughter's healthy and happy, and I'm grateful for that. That's just where I said, progression is what happened. Like I was able to stop and do what I needed to do for my first kid, but I was so wrapped up in my own addiction and my selfishness that wasn't able to make it to that same conclusion with my second child. So, I had my son, and man, as soon as I had him, I went right back out, like right back out. It was like, my whole life was going to be different, and it wasn't. I just kept doing the same things. I found more excuses. The boyfriend was cheating on me, this and that, whatever, whatever, and I just wanted to get high. Like that was the real kicker. I didn't want to stop. I was young. I was having fun. I had a kid. Now my life is over. And And, all I did was just go farther in the hole. So I had my second kid, and, I remember my entire pregnancy. Every single day I kept saying, "Today's the last day. Today's the last day I'm going to get high." And I could never stop. No matter how hard I tried, I came up with all these solutions and all these ways that I was going to make it work, and nothing I could do was enough. And I remember being so scared of having her because when I started going into labor, and I was detoxing and I was in labor at the same time. And it was like the most painful thing I'd ever went through, but my fear of getting her taken away, like, I just went through the pain. And so I went through several days of that before I actually had her. It was almost like, my body like kept me from going into labor because of like my fear, like I like controlled it somehow or something. And I had her, and like I remember telling myself it was going to be different, but I had drugs brought to me right there in the hospital. Again, like I was completely powerless and I didn't know that there was a solution. No clue. So, fast forward a little bit. My daughter's 6 months old now. My son's a little bit older, about a year and a half. Had them really close together. Uh, and again, it progressed. I went from using, like I said, all these different drugs to finally I started using the drugs a different way, and that was the way I was never like I looked at like I wasn't a junkie until I used like that. And then when that happened, it was even worse. It was like, nothing was enough. I remember my mom crying, like looking at me and like seeing me like withering away to nothing, and her just like so angry, you know? And I remember like yelling at her like, "This is my fucking life, like I'll do what I want. Like no care about nobody but myself. What about your kids, Don't mind your business." Like it was miserable. My life was miserable. I hated myself and everybody around me. And so this was the first attempt. Well, this is the first, I'm sure, I know my higher power's been with me my whole entire life. This was like the first real huge attempt of my higher power trying to swoop in and save me. And my house got raided. My kids got taken from me. I went to jail, and I remember really wanting something different, and I just didn't know what to do. So, me like the kid I grew up as, like always trying to do my best at everything, like I was given these tasks, these things that I had to follow, like go to meetings, go to your treatment, like things like that. And um, at first, I couldn't really do it. I was really struggling at staying clean because of the people, places, and things. Like that's a huge thing that they tell us in recovery is you got to be careful with your people, places, and things. You got to change those because if not, nothing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And so I went. I went into an inpatient. That was the only way to get me separated from the world because I at this point I had been in my grandma had been an enabler, so she had bonded me out of jail. And not my mom, my grandmother's a lot like my mother. I mean, she's been the one who's always been there for me even to this day still. So I went into this inpatient, and that's where I was introduced, where I was actually able to remember because like I tried meetings previous, but I don't know, like people I hear people share like, "Oh, I remember my first meeting. I remember their name and what they said," and I don't remember none of that. None of that. I probably don't remember the first 30 meetings I went to. So whenever I finally had some clarity and some clear mind, and I was able to actually pay attention to these people bring meetings in, like I was like, "Oh my god," I was so attracted. That's what they say, not it's attraction, not promotion. And I was attracted to what those people shared. I was attracted to a life without drugs, happiness, success, and success isn't necessarily like money or, nice things. Like success is just being okay with who I was, being okay with looking in the mirror and proud of the woman that I was. And I swore I was never gonna get high again. I swore that was never gonna happen. I was gonna, forever be changed. And I was so grateful for this experience. And I met somebody in that rehab. And if you guys have been in rehab, or if you haven't been in rehab and you think, and you go there, be careful of the rehab romance, because it took me out multiple times. And I'm really, really lucky to still be here today. So, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was meant to be. It was gonna be forever. And, we were gonna live happily ever after. And like fantasy's an addiction for me too. And what I seen it or believed it to be isn't what it was. So, I was powerless. And I made that person my higher power. I didn't give myself an opportunity to recover. And I filled the void. And instead of filling my void with, the universe or my higher power, or something loving greater than myself, I filled the void with somebody who made me feel good in the moment. And it was great. I did have some great experiences, and with that person. And we did share a good relationship, but they couldn't stay clean. And one thing I had heard, and I learned firsthand, is that they'll get me high before I get them clean or sober. And it was painful. It was very painful to let go of that relationship. And the last time that it happened, I'd been on a run. I'd given my kids back. So, I through meeting this person, getting into this relationship, I was able to stay clean long enough, or manipulate, because there was a lot of manipulation in there, to get my kids back as far as getting custody. And as soon as I got custody back, full on, I literally went and dropped them off to my grandmother's house and took off. And that's when my addiction got to the worst point it had ever been. They say like a brain full of recovery um won't go away. Like no matter how many drugs, there was never going to be enough for me to use to take away everything I had learned. And I used even harder for my guilt and shame, because I knew that there was another way. And ultimately I just didn't want it yet. So, I gave my kids away, and I justified it that like they're in a safer place, like I'm doing the right thing because I am a good mother, which all those things are true. But like there was really self-centered feelings behind it. It was all about me, and they were in my way. So, like I said, it's when it went the worst. And again, my higher power came in, swooped in. I was so angry, mad at the world. I went to jail again, but it's what got me to where I am today. I was separated from that relationship. And I remember being in jail when I first got there, and like not wanting to die, but just not really wanting to live. Like I just didn't have anything in life. I had nothing anymore. I gave up my kids. My family wouldn't talk to me. I didn't have any friends. The things I was doing to get high to myself, the ways and means, and the degradation, I just didn't see coming back from that. So I remember after finally getting past my detox, they had put me in a suicide prevention and like separated me from all population because I was just detoxing so bad there was no controlling me. And I remember finally getting into population, and like all I could do was make phone calls to try to get out and get high. Like that's the only thing I could think about was my next one. Who was I going to manipulate? How was I going to? I didn't care what I had to do. It didn't matter. And my grandma that I mentioned before, who was an enabler, finally showed some tough love, and she wasn't there at all. I'd ruined that relationship. And even my mom, like an addict who is still using, was threatening people to not get me out of jail. And that made me so angry. Like, how dare you? You're out there getting high and I can't get high too. But like even in addiction, like she's my mom, and today, like, she still makes some decisions that she makes, but through recovery, I've been able to find a way to share a relationship with her. So finally, people talk about like a moment of surrender, and like some people's are big, some people's are small. And like I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I literally got off the phone. It was probably the 500th phone call that I had tried to make. And it just hit me like, I'm not getting out. I'm going to be here and I might as well make the best of it. And I went upstairs and I went to my room and I dropped to my knees. And my higher power has changed over time, but ultimately, like, I know there's always been a power greater than myself there that loves me. And I prayed to that higher power, and I just asked please for my life to change. It was like everything was just floating above me. It was just like this crazy experience. And from that moment on, I have not looked back. I remember it took a few months before my grandmother started letting me see my kids. They had video visitations on there, and it was through multiple letters, trying to reach out, and her seeing the perspective in me changing. And I was looking at prison time, and I was honestly okay with whatever I had to do. It didn't matter. Like, and the people who came to see me while I was there was people in recovery, the people that I met in the rooms of recovery. They didn't give me money. They didn't promise me nothing. They just showed up and said, we're here and we love you, and you know where to go whenever you get out. And, and I'm friends with those same people today. So, I was looking at the prison, and my higher power changed that path for me too. I truly believe that my higher power knew that I was ready to do something different and gave me the opportunity to do that. So, I did what they said. I got out. First thing I did was go straight to a meeting of recovery. And, whatever path you choose, like what he shared about in the clarity statement, like that, like whatever work. I have friends who we used to do the same things together, and like the way what works for them isn't what works for me, and vice versa. It's like whatever works for you, but find something that works for you. And so I got out of jail, and I know some people have heard this recently, but it's it's a really funny part of my story. And like whenever I went to jail, I went to jail about 90 pounds. So I went in like these short shorts and this like flowy like tank top, right? And when I come out, I was like 180 pounds and I had to put the same outfit on. So that was real uncomfortable. But I was starting to get healthy. I was actually eating. And so, anyways, my grandmother picked me up and I went straight to a meeting, like exactly what they said. I found a sponsor. I got a commitment in the program that I'm in, and I started working some steps, and I went to a meeting every single day. And what I was doing was building a foundation that, helped me get to where I am. And, over the years, like, I can't believe, I just celebrated 6 years, 6 years clean. I just celebrated. I live grateful, man. Today, I'm so freaking grateful for that. It blows my mind. Like, sometimes I've sat and thought, like, why me? It doesn't matter. I'm here and I earned it because I put the work in to be here. I believe the best things that I've gotten since I've been here aren't material things. It's a relationship with my higher power. It's relationships in general. You know, I have some pretty amazing women in my life. I was not a woman like a friend. I wasn't really a friend at all. Honestly, I would say I had more guy friends, but I didn't. I just had guys because they were people I could use. And like women, I couldn't really use them. So, what did I need them for? And today, like, the people that are in my life are so selfless and loving, and I found my tribe. And, over the years, the ones that I've been close to, like those that they've changed, and that's okay. It really is. Like, there's people who are in your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, and ultimately, like, if we shared any memories together, I'm grateful. Because, there's women I've seen come in and then not choose to stay, and that's really hard. But, like, I can't want it for them. I can't want this way of life for them, this recovery life. They have to do the work on their own. And sometimes people choose that this isn't for them. I know for me, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I have learned to practice some principles in my life today. I've got a great job. Like, I thought for the longest time, I come from like bartending, serving, like never really having, today I have a 401k. You know what I mean? Like, today I have like a plan for my future. Like, what? I'm an adult, like I'm an actual adult who pays rent, drives a vehicle that I own, you know, has insurance on it. Let me talk about that right there because I mean, I've owned some vehicles in active addiction, but did I have insurance on them? No. Today I'm an honest woman, I'm an honest person, a good human to society. And like, like when I shared before, like success was just being able to look in the mirror and love myself and be okay with me. And today I fucking have that. And it's because I stayed and I did the work. It's because the women in the rooms, it's because the women in my life lifted me up and told me that I could, told me they believed in me. Life is good. Life is really good. I think that's all I got.
So, Hailie, what? Turn on the faucets for everybody in the comments. Tell you right now, they hit some chords. I promise you. Hope they got the tissues. They went had to run to the bathroom and get all the tissues out. But what raw and real, like raw and real. That's the message for tonight. It's raw and real. And and getting vulnerable, and that's what the true freedom is. And that's what you expressed tonight, is the true freedom that you experience in your life today. And I feel like that's when recovery is really working for you, is when you can be open and honest and just be you. I've said this a million times: be the naked weirdo self and let your whole being be, just like, some of the women in our area, just like Rachel, hugging trees, she's, and that's what's up. Like, I think it's awesome. I'm going to put us back down into regular land. And, and there's a few things that I want to touch on with in your message. And that's why this whole thing is called addiction to success. Now, success is not monetary, because that shit never brought me happiness. It never made me happy. It's so funny that we can work more, we can, stress ourselves out more, but we never make more money for some reason. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little crazy, right? But and everything else lacks in our life. I think that success comes no matter what, as long as you're doing the next right thing. And there's things in my life that I feel like I will never jeopardize, is my self-respect, my integrity. Those are the things that we talk about that are success. Those are my successes in life, besides the relationships that I've mended. Nothing that I could buy or even acquire, in this world can touch those things. And then, it's funny, you touched on the reason, season, or lifetime. And I just had a conversation with somebody about that yesterday, because we evolve as people every day. Every year, I'm on a new level of recovery. I'm on a new level of life. I'm a new Justin, and, I see these memes that go around and says, if you knew me last year, then let me reintroduce myself, or something like that,
Yeah.
And it's so true, because like, we are constantly evolving. And if you're not evolving, then you're running in place, and we want to be always trying to reach that higher level. And some people grow apart, and that's okay. It's just not the path, that you guys were supposed to be on. And, even if it's a 30-year relationship or a 10-year relationship, a friendship, sometimes it grows apart, and that's okay. Um, so yeah. And then, also the fantasies are an addiction. Like,
Yeah.
I love that place. I love my fantasy world, and a lot of times I do it in my relationship, because I'm trying to figure out what she's thinking in the fantasy land of what really is going on. And man, that's a horrible place to be, man. I can get addicted to the what it should be like, or what it
Mm-hmm.
could have been, or what that time, I think that's something that, like you said in the beginning, you said that the drugs was fun at first, and it was exciting time, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in the ecstasy days, so like, that was I loved it, and I always was trying to get back to that specific time, that specific feeling, and I never could get it,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kept me chasing. And that's the fantasy land, thinking that I could get back there if I just tried harder, I did more, if I found the right stuff, or whatever it looked like.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
that
that.
place.
So my first sponsor had said, because you're talking about it, and it jogged a thought. So I had tried to get back into that relationship that I was in active addiction, when I had about over a year clean, and it was a terrible idea. And and I was able to not get backed into a corner, and I was able to get out of it clean, but it was only because I followed suggestions. But I remember my sponsor asking me, what is it about this person that you love? What is it about this person? And so all these things I started naming were things that were not even real. They were not even the reality. Like, it was the fantasy that I had created. So basically, I didn't even love this person. And that was like the biggest epiphany that I had come across, is that I created what was even happening. And it wasn't even that. It was just what I fantasized it to be.
Yeah, yeah, we can.
It's so strong and powerful and crazy.
It's just like believing our own lies. We make these things up of like what our life looks like to us, but it was totally not, because you want to believe that's the truth about what it is. So you make it up inside your head, because that saves you, and you don't want to lose this person because you're
Mhm.
attached.
Yeah.
That codependency is strong. That's a drug too, you know?
Mhm.
And I that it's just like putting on these masks, we keep doing that, and it's just it can get us tripped up and get us stuck for a long time that we didn't need to.
Right.
Yeah. So and then that the people in recovery showing up. And I'll tell you what, I didn't like, okay. So like when I first got in recovery, I had, like people do things for you in recovery and you're like, what do they want? They expect you, are they expecting something out of you? Like I still had those, like, I was like, suspect to everybody. Everybody was suspect, right? There's no way they're this fucking happy for one thing. Ain't no fucking way. Or, or they're going to be nice to you. Like ain't nobody ever been nice to me in my life, but you find out genuinely they are sincere and they just want to freaking see you succeed. That's all they
Mhm.
want.
Yeah.
And if I could stop being my freaking suspect self, and trying to sabotage everything in my life, maybe, just maybe, this could flourish into something good. But I think that's a lot of it is just getting over that suspicion of everything's going to fail. You know what I mean? Or everybody's out to get you. But I've had the most realist conversations. I've had the most authentic um friendships. I mean, you name it, man. I've had people that be there for a drop of a dime when Tiffany got sick, like that, drive, help us freaking manage our life, and I never had that before. So I just wanted to touch on that, and like, yeah, they do show up big time, tenfold, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I got this thing's blowing up over here. I got tons of comments. How you know your recovery strong? Look at the comment section. That's all I'm saying. Oh man, let's see. I'm gonna go back a little bit. And let's see, we have Helen says, you have an amazing story. It's full of truth and raw emotion. Your story is going to help a lot of people. God bless you.
Thank you.
Then we got Mike. Mike, he how do I share my testimony? Yeah, I'll send you a link, man, to sign up. We got Tiffany says, thank you for sharing your story. You are such an inspiration for so many.
Love you, girl.
We got April says, that's awesome. We got Tiffany Smith says, congratulations. We got Allie says, you're a miracle. We got Danielle says, I freaking love you, Hailie. You are such an inspiration. I am so grateful that you are a part of my life.
Love you.
Christina, amen, girl. Proud of you, and your testimony is so powerful. There we go, Rachel. A grateful, vigilant addict will not use. Gina, you are such a gift, sister. So proud of you. Love you big. We got Lindsay says, guilt and shame still affects me, but I know working through the steps will help alleviate that burden. Starting to love myself is one of the most difficult things I've had to do, but so worth it. Hailie, thank you for showing me what a woman of integrity is and showing up for life with me. I'm so grateful for you and love you.
Love you.
Yeah, that guilt and shame, man, it's something that holds for a while. I don't think mine was released until my mugshot got plastered on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my higher power showing up, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. We got Tina says, "What a blessing you are to all of us." Uh, uh, uh. We got Mike says, "Really powerful sister. God bless you." Gina cutting onions over here. Kyle says you're a straight badass.
Thanks, Kyle.
Lindsay, absolutely amazing. Love you. Maria says thank you. We got Megan says thank you. What that was amazing. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know I needed to hear this tonight. And that's why you guys should share this, because
Mhm.
just like her, somebody else needs to hear it too.
Yep.
We got Aaron says, holy cow, so excited I tuned in. Testimony is amazing and just a badass. Tiffany, Hailie, you're the best of the best. Thank you for loving yourself so we get the chance to love you too. Yeah, Sober Now says, beautiful share. Thank you for your raw, authentic story. You have brought hope to others, my friend. Keep going. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Diantha, that was beautiful. I felt like you told my story at so many points. It gives hope to other women like myself that there's a solution and you don't have to self destruct. Yeah, Elizabeth says, thanks for sharing your experience, strength, and hope, and congrats on 6 years.
Thank you.
Let's see, and we have Tiffany Smith says, I've never met you before, but I definitely feel like I know you better now. You did such a wonderful job. Congratulations on the 6-piece. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
We got Crystal says, that's a beautiful, Hailie. What a powerful, inspirational story you have. Thank you for being vulnerable and courageous and sharing your heart. Blessings. We have Felicia, right? Yeah. Let's not butcher names on this podcast, just to let you know. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So can relate. Boo, boo, boo. Sherry Lynn, love this channel. Glad to hear. We got Rachel. Megan says, I love this, and I was so looking forward to Sunday all week. We got Dustin. Look at Recovery Coach showing up big time for our girl. We have such an amazing area. Yes, we do. Got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Amy
Don't
Lee.
know, find out.
Come get some.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your testimony truthfully with honesty and wholehearted. Transparency is not easy, but that's what works in recovery.
Yeah.
Facts right there. Rudolph, what a powerful message. I agree with Crystal. Absolutely inspirational story. Thank you for sharing. Let's see, we're almost there. We're almost there. Let's see. We got Lori says, you have an amazing story. I connected so much to your story, especially the using during the pregnancy and telling yourself every day that was the last time. That was me. And I will forever be so grateful that my daughter is happy and healthy.
Yes.
You know, that's it, man. That tomorrow never comes, you know?
Yeah, never.
Today's the last. I'm never. And next thing you know, like you're trying to like turn left and it goes right to the dope man's house. It's
yeah.
like,
Yep.
yo.
And then afterwards you're like, how did this happen?
Yeah. Who was in charge here? I want to see the supervisor. Christina, yes, I tried the same thing with my relationship with my ex, but I knew I had to leave him for my recovery to blossom. I then worked on myself and I found the best husband now, and I'm grateful God had way bigger plans for me.
Yep. It's like that teddy bear behind the back, you know, like God's got the big teddy bear behind the back, and then the guy's holding the little teddy bear, and he's like, but I want it. And God's like, but I got something bigger for you, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a bigger teddy bear hiding, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, man. You know, it's a bigger blessing on the other side. We just got to let go and let God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lynn says, I can relate to a lot of your story, especially around my children. I lost them and I got them back. The detox rehab romances, they don't last. Danger, Will Robinson.
Danger.
Yeah. With a oh, never mind. I lost that thought. He's got Lynn says, I also have 6 years.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Woo!
congratulations. We got Kinsey says, I'm beyond grateful for you in every moment of every day.
I love you.
And Kelly, my daughter will have 14 years next week. I just got 15. Families do recover. Oof.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you for the hope shot.
Yeah, I like that right there. Families do recover instead of
That's
we
right.
do recover. We have family. That's a hashtag.
Yeah.
Probably already is. Everything's hashtagged. Let's see. We got Lindsay says, I love the teddy bear meme. Mm-hmm. So and Dan says, I am starting my second step and I really need to hear the God with the teddy bear analogy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And Megan, how often is this meeting? every Sunday we do topics, and then at the last Sunday of the month we do stories. Here in the near future, we'll have a lot more stories to be shared once time becomes available, I guess, for me. So yeah, tune in every Sunday at 8 p.m. All right, so that's it. You got anything else you wanna? You
It
good?
was amazing. I'm grateful. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm not really the biggest speaker, but I just had a bunch of my beautiful friends, like I mentioned before, pray over me and just ask me to share a clear message, and that's what I did, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, you
Thanks
did
for the
amazing.
opportunity.
You did amazing, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with us. And yeah, guys, please share out this story. All you have to do is hit that share button, man, get it out there. And then check us out next Sunday, 8 p.m. right here live on the Hope Shot. And until then, hope you guys have a great week, and I love y'all. See it.
Bye.